Just Atraxa wearing a fucking like Phyrexian like strap on, just fucking a canned ham. Hey, we found our intro.
Yeah, I think we did actually. Yes, it is Man-Child Roundtable. You asked for it. We have your letters and cards that you sent to us, and we answered them. And we're ready to go. Take it away, Jacob.
How is this? What?
Go ahead.
It's Man-Child Roundtable,
It is.
and we're here to beat your face in with awesome.
Yes, but in a very loving way. Send cards and letters. I'm a hungry man.
Send money as well.
Right, no, this is a stick-up, actually. This is a robbery.
Yeah, we're actually physically going to rob you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as soon as you shut us off, we're going to appear behind you. It's like Beetlejuice or Candyman.
Yeah. Fork it over
Like,
right now.
Candyman is infinitely worse than Beetlejuice, in my opinion. Like, not like if you get in the same room.
Agree.
I would think that Beetlejuice, who has the ability to warp reality around him, is a little bit more like. I'd actually like to see him versus Franklin Richards.
Yes, actually, I didn't know I want to see that fight, but now I really want
I
to see
really
that
want to
fight.
see that fight.
Yeah, really.
And I'm talking
really,
like
really.
Beetlejuice, like Michael Keaton Beetlejuice, not the cartoon Beetlejuice, which was also fun, but also, you know,
That goes without saying. Come on.
well, you know.
It's Michael Keaton. It's always Michael Keaton.
Did you hear that
He's
they
going
were
back to play Batman. Yeah, dude.
You heard about
Yep.
that?
Perfect. Oh yeah, the second it happened. So I posted on Facebook. It was just like a phrase. That just said like, "Now we're fucking talking."
Yeah.
Like, okay, DC's finally getting it. It seems. Yeah.
Anyway, so let's talk about something that's way
But it
more
is
interesting.
Man-Child Roundtable, and we're not here to shit on movies. We're here to shit on magic cards.
Don't shit on my magic cards, please. Let's talk a little bit about. I mean, Amonkhet just dropped, but let's not talk about Amonkhet as a set and like all the boring bullshit that people are talking about. Let's like turn back the clock. Let's look retroactively at the Invocations, which were probably the worst looking magic cards of all time.
I mean, this is one of the biggest failures in the history of the game. But, I mean, first of all, the Invocations were part of a bunch of magic cards that were known as the Masterpiece series. And they were these super duper double secret ultra mega foil cards that were intended to be released with every block from Battle for Zendikar on. Battle for BFZ had the full art lands, because of course they did it, Zendikar, and they worked out great. It was gorgeous. They were really nice looking.
The Zendikar Expeditions were probably some of the best looking magic cards out there. That was probably one of the best subsets of Magic, because if you look, they don't have BFZ as the set designator. They have like Expeditions.
Yes, something totally different.
They're like a subset. The fact that they wanted to do this every single set afterwards, I think was a little overkill. But
yeah, it was ambitious. I see where they were going with it, but yeah, it ended up being overkill, and they had to pump out too many too fast.
It worked. It worked for Expeditions in Battle for Zendikar, and I think they were in the second set too, right? Gatewatch.
Yes,
they were in the
having
second.
both
Yeah.
the Gatewatch. Yep.
Yeah.
And then Kaladesh came along.
Kaladesh
which had
block.
Inventions.
Oh man, they nailed that. They nailed that. Everything about the Inventions was absolutely 100% masterful, and they were right. Masterpieces. That is what they were. Then we had Amonkhet.
Yep. And they came along with their Invocations. They were supposed to represent the Plains gods and their abilities and the servants, and then the following set, Hour of Devastation, was released, and its Invocations represented the destruction that was wrought by Nicol Bolas, who is my favorite character from MTG lore.
See, now, you say that they were meant to represent things. I don't see any of that. I just see random bullshit with really no rhyme or reason as to what was put in them.
It's an invocation of something.
It's an invocation of something. And it's like,
right.
No, these are...
Actually...
Yeah, actually...
That's good. That's a good noise.
I mean, they just didn't hit it. They just looked like, okay, it was like the WotC dude with the big hat and the horns and all that shit. He was like sitting there going, yeah, the Grand Poobah of WotC.
The head muckety muck.
Yes. Grand Poobah, head muckety muck, and King of Scotland. He decided, like, I don't care, just make it look like shit. And it's like, oh, okay.
I think the general idea was not bad, but it's just like they made every mistake possible that you could have made in doing it this way. They just dove headfirst into every landmine, every way this could have gone wrong. They nailed it. So here we go. Here is an invocation. Look at that.
It is aesthetically unpleasing on almost all levels.
That's a fancy way of saying it looks like shit.
Yeah. So the first thing is the color identity. It's not immediately obvious.
Another big problem with these is the text blocks. Like, look, can you read that word?
No.
I mean, you can't even read the names of the cards without getting a migraine. This is not a subjective critique of the aesthetics. This is objectively difficult to read. The design is not functional. You failed at making words that one can read.
The thing is like when these things first appeared, you can hear people talking about them. Like, if you go back, it's like, oh, they're not that hard to read. You're just being stupid. No,
they are.
Yeah. They are so hard to read. This is just my opinion, but Amonkhet was rife with ugly design. Those what I forget if it was Amonkhet or the set afterwards, but the stupid double cards, the ones with that.
Oh, the aftermath cards.
Oh yeah, those things were eye-bleedingly ugly. Like, that is just how I describe them. And I mean, like, for the invocations to take that eye-bleedingly ugly to another level.
For that many people to, like, sign off on it. Like, do you realize how many hands had to pass these cards that someone says, like, that looks good, yeah, that seems legit, okay, yeah, big old check mark, there you go.
Yeah, it's like they I don't know, like, what they were doing to the card designers.
Did no one want to say the Emperor has no clothes here?
Yeah, I think that's what happened, really. Is like, no one, like, was like, oh, Grand Poobah is obviously wrong about this. They were like, you were now... They actually have an oubliette that they put people into.
I spent, like, a day and a half, 2 days, looking at invocations as research for this thing. After a day and a half of 2 days looking at these things, I still look at a lot of the cards and be like, what is that? Like, I can't read it. And I've spent like 2 days, like, looking at these styles, and they still confuse the hell out of me.
See, the problem is like, they were going for style over function. Putting the way something looks over the functionality of it is always bad for a card and always bad for a game whatsoever.
I applaud them for swinging for the fences, but some stuff just didn't work, like arranging the power and toughness vertically on the card. It's just, it doesn't read when you first look at it and be like, what is that? Oh, okay, all right, that's power and toughness. Like, it's...
If you know anything about Egyptian, like, hieroglyphics, it's cute, it's funny, you know.
I'm assuming I know hieroglyphics from movies. Like, that's the only thing I really know them from.
Well, that's like, what I mean. Like, if you have, like, any kind of, like, passing knowledge of, like, you know, that kind of, like, aesthetic.
Outside of Indiana Jones flicks, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get it. I get what they were going for, but man, they really, like, there was no pulling back. Everything just got checkmarked, like you said, and no one was watching what people were doing, I think. They were letting the art department just jerk off all over these fucking cards.
But they didn't even do service to the actual, like, new art that they had in those cards.
Yeah, the art was tiny on them.
Right, because they presented it at, like, this, like, 3/4 size of the normal frame for the foiling process. That doesn't help anything either, because that works best on cards that have very light and bright colors. And a lot of these were, like, very, very dark, because the set was a very dark-themed set. But, like, the foil on the dark artwork just made it look... You couldn't really tell what it was. I mean, if you want to talk really ugly, too, if you notice, the invocations that came out with the first set, Amonkhet, they were all, like, single-colored. And then in the Hour of Devastation ones, that's when they actually, because you said gold cards, like, that's when they brought in gold cards into the invocations. And then it was a gold bar on top of gold coloring. And it looked awful.
Let's move on from that and just talk about the card selection.
So, there's 54 cards total, which were spread out over the two sets. Blue players were incredibly excited because they had 18 cards. Green players, you got 2. One of which was a god that was created specifically for this set, which means that Wizards of the Coast could only fit 1 green card from what was damn near a quarter century of Magic at that point. They could only find 1 green card. 1.
The concept was garbage to begin with. You know, but I mean, they could have done something with that. You know what? From something like invoking, you know, like as a concept, you would think that you would have more like creatures. You would have more The gods were okay for this, whatever, but you got one, like you said, with green. So who cares?
You got one green card. Like, that's all you can think of.
You're talking about invoking something, okay? You're invoking like an avatar of something. There are plenty of things for green to pull from for that concept.
Did no one say like yes, but green though? Yeah.
I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, if you're gonna do invocations or something like that, why not like print like reprint like legendary creatures that have like a like an ETB effect or something like that, or like actually reprint some of the invoke cards that came out years before, like that. I mean, where was the Mole Drifter for blue? Like that would have been a cool one to get. It would have been cool to see it. It's like a sand shark kind of thing. It wasn't that there were bad cards chosen for the most part, because there were a lot of really good cards.
Some of them were so good that they were banned from play.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, I guess so, but they weren't legal in the format anyway. Like, you couldn't play an invocation in standard anyhow. Like, unless it was in standard at the time.
No, you could play it in
draft,
like,
but not in standard.
You're saying that, like, this is, but it just seems odd to me that, like, it's not too powerful for draft, but it's too powerful for standard, really?
I don't know, like, but that's... I don't want to get into that conversation, but
okay.
There was a lot of good cards that were printed as invocations, but they're just so bad to look at. It's like, I got Entomb. Entomb is a great card, and I was like, wow, this is a really great card, but it makes me want to puke just looking at it.
Especially that art for Entomb, like, it just comes off as lazy. Like, it didn't look good. The art pieces for the invocations, really, they either looked really great or looked like shit. And there wasn't a lot of middle ground.
It doesn't matter what any of the art looked like, because no one remembers any of it, because all you remember is that fugly border that they put around every goddamn card. And you can't get around that. That's what everybody thinks of when they think of invocations. The ugliest cards in Magic history.
So let's take a look at a few of them. Let's take a closer look at some of these messes and see if we can't find some cool stuff to complain about. I'm not angry enough.
I need to be more angry. So
let's take a look at this one right here. This is one of our first offenders. All right, the Scarab God. Just look at the art right there. First of all, like the regular Scarab God card, and this artwork, like you can see the Scarab God so much better in the regular card. You look at this, and he absolutely blends into the background, and he's half covered dark. Same thing happened with the Scorpion God and the Locust God. They're all like popping out of little doors like, hello, but it just you can't even tell what they are, because they just blend into the background so much. And the foiling process really fucked these ones up because they're so dark. And this is also what I was talking about when these came out. And if you look there, look there. If you look there, you can see like the gold on gold, which just doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't. And if we look at the Locust God one, how do you even know what fucking color that is? Just from looking at it and the way the other invocations were structured, with their border having like hints of the color on it, there's black right there. There's no black in the Locust God's color. He is blue-red. So, I mean, like, why is there any black on the card besides the lettering? I don't get it. These hints could have been blue and red and like...
Right, because not every time that they've done cards that had two color identities to them, was it always gold.
Hybrid.
They had two different colored cards on there, and that was fine, and everybody understood what was going on.
This is off subject, but have you seen the misprints from Double Masters?
I have not.
They reprinted the filter lands, but some of them were printed with the wrong mana symbols on them, the wrong hybrid mana symbols. So like the blue-black one, yeah, you tap a green and a white, and it it gives you blue and black. Like, it's like, oh my god, how does that even happen? Yeah, how does that even happen?
Like, incredibly, there's so much money. There's so many people being thrown out. They keep making these mistakes like they're amateurs. Like they're like the easiest things to catch. It's really, really impressive, actually. And it gives me hope that I'm dumb and I'm an idiot, and one day I can run a company like that, and it won't be any different.
I'm just convinced that they're hiring people off of Fiverr to do this shit for them now. They're not even like fucking like hiring an in-house graphics team at all. Like, yeah. I know that they had that most of their artists work like as freelancers, which is fucked up on so many different levels.
Yeah.
But I thought that was funny, and we need to go back to talking about the invocations being horrible.
You can't even tell what's going on. You can barely see the creatures, which are the focus. And it's not just a consequence of the foiling and the smaller art panel. Like, the original art right here is obscure. It is hard to parse. It's like they told the artist, like, and get ready for a moniker massacre here. I didn't even try.
To pronounce that correctly, you'd have to rip out your tongue.
It's like they told the artist, like, make the focal points of your piece not the focal points of your piece at all. Try to hide the character that the card's referencing. Bad choices all around there.
Actually, you know what? I don't blame the artists for drawing it the way they did. I honestly don't. I blame the people who designed the border. I don't know how they do it. I don't know if they know what kind of border they're sticking them in.
If you just like take the actual paintings themselves and you like remove the border and you just go on MTG Picks or wherever you go and you just like look at like full high quality HD of the actual pieces themselves with no border or anything like that, it's still damn near impossible to tell what's going on. Let's check out some other ones right here that are even worse. Lord of Extinction. I have a bone to pick with, and this is not a problem that is unique to Invocations cards. It's a pet peeve of mine to see creatures get reprints that feature artwork that's totally different than the original one. Because to me, like, that's half the fun of a reprint is seeing a familiar character in a new light. You know, and that's what's really cool about reprints to me. Not just grabbing a random piece of art from the rejection file and calling it Lord of Extinction, which I think is what they did here, because that is not the Lord of Extinction. That's a big bug monster. Lord of Extinction is this big kind of green thing with a big old mouth.
I wouldn't say that that's a pet peeve of mine, but like that definitely does take you out of the game world, you know, the game's world. So like there are creature types that are inextricably bound to these planes, right? Like slivers, you think of Wrath or Dominaria, right? Mm-hmm. Lord of Extinction isn't from, what was it? It was
Alara.
Alara, right? Yeah. That creature makes sense on Alara. It doesn't make sense when put into a context of, you couldn't put Lord of Extinction into Dominaria and say, oh look, the Lord of Extinction showed up. See, this is why I think this game is dumb in a lot of ways. In terms of the game, it works, but in terms of the game world, it doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
Because
it pulls you out of it, and it breaks that, I don't want to say temporary suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, that is what it does. Like, if they would have reprinted like a Felidar in this set, it would have felt really weird, right?
Perfect case in point, this next card that we're going to talk about that did the exact same goddamn thing. Avatar of Woe. That is not the Avatar of Woe. That is the Arc Fiend of Infear. This is... My parents would be so proud to have me have a freaking conversation. That is not the Avatar of Woe!
Actually...
The Avatar of Woe doesn't have, like, 9 arms. This guy has, like, 9 arms.
I think they're mixing up Hinduism and Egyptianism. What the fuck is wrong with you, Wacky Eye?
Bring it back! Bring it back! Bring it back!
You wanted me to get mad, man. Serenity now.
Insanity later. But yes, it is, I mean, like, they do that with these cards, not the Avatar of Woe. They've done, like, 3 or 4 cards with the Avatar of Woe on it. It's established what it looks like, and you just kind of slap the name on there and put whatever from, again, like, the reject art pile.
Egyptian thing. That's my whole problem.
Egyptian Avatar of Woe, yeah.
Okay, so that is my whole problem with this goddamn set, period, is, like, they just slapped Egyptian theme on it, and it's like, because people were crying out for an Egyptian theme set for, like, 20 years. They're like, finally, we can do an Egyptian theme set. Let's just put all this Egyptian bullshit and gold all over everything. For me, it just makes it feel hokey and forced and
again, I applaud them for trying to put a square peg in a round hole, because sometimes you can get good results that way, but it wasn't like that this time. Take a look at these 2 cards right here.
Slaughter Pact and what was Diabolic Intent. I couldn't even read it. The kerning is all fucked on it. It's bad.
Well, if you look on Slaughter Pack, too, if you look in that middle left corner right there, there's the skull symbol for swamps. Why is it there?
Oh, you mean down at the bottom here? Oh, yeah.
In the type line there.
It's a color card that has 0 mana cost. That's why they did that. So you know it's black.
But you just had to use Slaughter Pact, didn't you? Like, you just had no choice. You couldn't put another green card in there. You had to put Slaughter Pact in there and then make it, like, difficult to parse. And then you go, well, now we're going to move the mana symbol down here so you know it's black. And you couldn't tell by the gray bars that are on either side of it right there. And again, the art just looks like common stock stuff. It's not very great.
Like, it's a bad choice mechanically. It's a bad choice aesthetically. Period.
Next one is like, even look at this though, because if you look at the card, we were talking about diabolic intent. I don't even care what the card does. Blow it up. Look at the artwork right here. What is going on?
What is going on
in that
this
scene? Yeah,
nothing is going on. It is literally nothing. It's a land card.
All right, where is the diabolic intent here? It looks like, okay, it looks like there was a guy. And he was bleeding, and then maybe he touched a hieroglyphic, and that turns purple for some reason. And then I'm assuming his body, the dead body, is being blocked by the top of the stairs, which is a great design choice. What the hell is going on here?
I think that this just looks like it was generic, and it could have been used for anything. It looks like it could have been like an artifact card. Logistically, that's a good choice of producing lots of different art for like many different reasons. Stock assets are not a bad thing generally. But when you're trying to create something that's a premium product, you generally want to stay away from things that feel like they could have gone anywhere in the set and been right at home. Like, what of this speaks diabolic intent at all?
Nothing. We are not down on every single one of these cards. There is some genuinely gorgeous art.
No, I really hate these cards. Like I was saying earlier, the Kaladesh cards were, they were chef's kiss as far as I'm concerned. But when they did this, they lost the plot, man. I think what we're seeing now with the whole borderless everything and fucking like crazy bullshit, that we got going on with the extended art cards. I think that is a reaction from Wizards based on the player reaction, fan base reaction of the Invocations. Because after the Invocations happened, we didn't get any more fancy border stuff that was like, premium product, really. I mean, we got
not really until Eldraine.
I mean, that's the thing is, I think I said this before in the last episode. That worked though because it was a storybook theme. There was really nothing. I mean, they could have done something really good with these. I think there was the problem was twofold, really. Invocations was a weak concept, and the art was fucking hideous. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. So do you think that the art for Days is hideous?
It doesn't say Days to me.
I really like that, actually. Now, just as a painting by itself, I would like hang that on my wall. I love the way those like glowing blue birds look. I love the reflection of the birds in the water. That single guy standing there. It doesn't really hit the meaning or like the flavor of like being dazed by a spell or having your mind blown, but I think just by itself, just the art is a gorgeous painting, and I really like it. I wish it was bigger. I wish I could see it better on this card.
It's obviously an asset that they created, didn't use it for whatever it was, and then they use it for something else, in my opinion. It doesn't look like it was created with the intent. Now, it may very well have been, because I know that the art direction that these people get, the creators, they often get just to like 3 words.
Yeah, like very small sentences. Yeah.
Gideon eats sandwich. It's like, okay, Gideon's sandwich, and it's like him heroically like munching down with his sideburns flowing in the wind. It's like I hate
his mutton chops.
His fucking heroic mutton chop mastery.
Yeah.
There we go. That's a Gideon's signature spellbook card they should have put in.
Mutton chop mastery. There you go.
So what's this other one? Divert?
Divert, actually. I like the way that the way you show that concept, which is like the water coming down and then kind of forming that kind of hook, that kind of like curve around the creature in the middle right there. I mean, it's kind of neat. I'm trying here, man. I'm trying to find positives.
To me, I don't see it because it just looks like
if it was in a movie and like a water was falling down and they showed a guy that was magic and he kind of went like that and made the water not hit him and kind of go in a circle like that, I'd look at that part in the movie and be like, that's pretty cool.
So Spell Pierce is the next one. I don't think that this one is atrocious. How do you represent that in the first place?
Well, I mean, I can see that they're kind of like you have the fire that's on the ground, and then he's pushing it away, kind of like a wall. I mean, that's not really piercing it, but Spell Pierce right here, this is the kind of card that would look good in foils, because it's got like the lighter colors right there, and that's kind of like the perfect card that the foiling process was designed to do. And, I could see that looking very good in foil. I could.
Yeah.
I lost my steam there, but yeah.
You could see this
where I'm
looking good
going
in
with
foil,
this.
but it's an invocation, so it doesn't look good.
Yeah. And, all right, next one.
Artichoke.
It looks like.
Islands don't untap. Oh, good.
Yeah, really. And look at that border with the baby shit green and tan, which is just a hot color combination right there. Choke. Choke is the card, and the you don't even have the artwork showing someone being choked.
Well, now, okay, I get what they're. It's not about someone being choked. It's choking resources.
Yeah.
Lava is not a choking of the resource, in my opinion.
Oh, you thought
unless
it was
was like hardened lava. I don't
I'm
understand
assuming it's blood.
I don't know what the hell. Well, I mean, like, yeah, that would make sense with the whole biblical Egyptian kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like blood. It looks like lava to me. Also,
I can see it now that you mentioned it. I can totally see that.
There's like ways you can fucking do it, like damming up a river or something like that.
Right.
You know, like fucking like. What is this? You know, polluting it with blood or whatever and choking it out that way. But like, it doesn't work.
It's a stretch at best.
Yeah. In my expert opinion, this is garbage.
To wrap this up, the fallout from this whole mess was very swift and very severe. Wizards freaked out and just canceled all the masterpieces altogether. The next set, Ixalan, was scheduled to feature explorations.
Which would have caused absolutely no confusion with the expeditions.
Yeah, no, that's right too, with the name being those similar, probably, yeah.
Oh, God.
But they needed to be like... They needed to be 4 syllables.
Exploration.
Exploration. Yes, 4, yeah. And that was supposed to focus on spells that made you dig through your library, and hence you're searching for buried treasure, which was kind of Ixalan's theme, like with the pirates and the islands and stuff like that. But somehow, Wizards of the Coast managed to learn the absolute wrong lesson from all of this and fire that baby right out the window with the bathwater.
Shoot it right to the moon with no oxygen.
They're known for doing this because they did the same thing recently with the story when everybody was just like, War of the Spark is hot garbage. And they're like, oh, okay, fine, then just don't get story then.
Yeah, it seems to be their MO. It's like, oh, you don't like this?
Well, fuck you, you're not getting any of it then.
It's like, that's kind of like, you know, like, that's not the way to run a business.
No, it's not. And it makes the people that feel wronged feel like they're wrong for feeling this way.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, that is kind of what they're doing. It's almost like we're being gaslit by a fucking company, you know, and it's like...
Yeah, that sells cardboard.
Oh, man, what am I doing with my life?
The point is that it's a shame, because I don't think anybody was really against the idea of Masterpiece cards as a concept. They just hated the Amonkhet one.
I just don't think that they needed to be in every set. That's the thing, is like, everybody always talks about this whole concept of moderation is key, and Wizards doesn't understand that at all. The whole, like, you know, exploration theme of Ixalan would have worked, I think, you know, especially with cards like Mastermind's Acquisition. You know, that would have been a great card to, like, have, like, as a shiny, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, I'm glad that we didn't get any more after that, you know, like...
Yeah.
These things need to be done sparingly. It's just like the full art lands. Anyway, I'm not sad that masterpieces are gone, but again, I think they could be brought back and done the right way. If they put me in charge, Wizards would be great. But they're not going to put me in charge because I have no qualifications.
Right.
I barely even play the game, you know. So it's like, just like to talk about it.
But I have opinions about it, and that's what we do here on Man-Child Roundtable.
Yes, fuck substance, all opinion, all the time.
Thanks so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. You have yourselves an excellent rest of the evening.
I really want some canned ham tokens made now.
Oh, God, yeah. Delicious. With that, like, kind of like clear jelly that's always around it.